Welcome to the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap-Up Show. Oh, you did this time, Craig. Can't even help it. Got to see what you're doing in the beginning, right? Welcome to the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap-Up Show for another episode here on a beautiful Tuesday evening here. Yeah, I snuck up on you that time.
Dude, you gotta learn how. Your old age is getting to you about your technology. You need to turn that music down so everyone can hear you, or get a microphone, whatever the case may be.
I couldn't hear you. What? Music's too loud.
Exactly. 50-year-old man. You gotta get young with the youngsters like me and Coach Trevino here at Lytle.
Yeah.
Technology, baby.
Technology. That's why you got to hire from the outside, right? Or just learn and be, school. What is it? Be a student of what is of today.
There you go. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. But hey, you know what? I'm excited.
What are you excited about?
This head coach today, Lytle Pirates, Coach Mike Trevino. Lytle last year only won one game. They have not been 4-0 since, I think, 1920. I think I read that right, 1922. This guy has turned this program around. This guy, he's a great man of faith, great man of everything. He loves the kids. I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait. Let's just do it.
All right, let's bring him on in. Let's welcome the Lytle head coach of the Pirates, Coach Mike Trevino. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, fellas, man. First of all, what you're doing for Texas high school football is unreal. And, anytime you can promote a program, it's just a huge blessing for us. So we thank you for the opportunity.
Well, Coach, thank you so much, and we appreciate you being on. One thing I got to just ask you, though, for just to start right out of the gate, undefeated at this moment. What is the one thing that you have learned about your team from this year, from last year to this year?
Just the love and leadership. We definitely, preach every single day our three pillars, which is, love purposely, lead passionately, listen patiently. And what's remarkable about that, those initials are LP. Mm-hmm. And so for Lytle Pirates, and that's kind of how it created, our culture philosophy is, it's the one thing that I've seen demonstrated and displayed every single day. So it's unbelievable to watch every single day.
Coach, last year, I want to talk more about your school. I mean, Lori Wilson's done a remarkable job being the AD director over there at Lytle. The boys basketball team with the state semifinals. The girls were a couple minutes away from going to the state regional final. Track team's doing amazing. Now your football program is doing. Just talk about how.
What do you about cross country being ranked number one?
Cross country as well. Yeah, you're right. Just saying. Just talk about how the athletic program and what you bring to this program and what's bring the most impactful thing that you've seen in this program so far.
Just what we do every day. We're a love first, relationship driven program. So when we can leave footprints on heart every single day, it's going to trickle down to every other program within our athletic department. And so that's why coming on, at a place that I've been at before, it was somewhat, easy, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm 31 years old. I only have 6 years experience in teaching and coaching in the state of Texas. I'm like, what can I do that's been different? What does this place need? What leadership style does this place need? And, just by the grace of God, I've been given the opportunity here, with Coach Wilson blessing me with my first head coaching opportunity and the administration staff, and, our superintendent, Michelle Carroll Smith, has been unbelievable. And, I look over my shoulder left and right, they're right there with me, full support, just allowing me to do what we do best, and that's bringing energy, effort, enthusiasm, every aspect of our athletic program.
Coach, you come from Holmes Huskies. I mean, back in the day, I mean, tradition, Holmes Huskies was like, I mean, if you come from Holmes Huskies, you were from somewhere. And as the schools kept building on and everything, they're up and down. But you learned from some of the greatest that were over there at Holmes. Talk about your experience going from Holmes Huskies to be the, head coach at Lytle.
Prior to Holmes, and I have to give huge credit to my 2 years at Taft. Prior to that, I was the wide receivers coach and DBs coach. Those 2 years that I spent at Taft and being under, Ricky Stade for those 2 years and really attaching myself to both coordinators, David Gibbons, who is now the OC at Sotomayor, and Michael Mole, the DC then, who is now the head football coach at Burbank. Those three just allowed me to continue to feed and fuel me with something, and that's kind of where, my head coaching blueprint started, because where can I gain ideas from? Where can I start to build a foundation on? And the success that we had at Taft was unbelievable. My first year there, we go 3 rounds deep. We have a 9-3 record. First time, in 17 years that has happened. Same thing, winning record. 3 rounds deep, playoff appearance. And back-to-back seasons. Those first 2 years at Taft were definitely a huge, rocket, I guess, blast off. To allow me to see things differently, especially at a 6A level program. And so now when I was able to be blessed with the opportunity to become a coordinator at such a young age at a 6A level program with Holmes, that story is even more remarkable. Why? Because I interviewed for the OC job. I ended up getting a DC job. and why? Because Pete Padilla took a chance on me.
Yeah.
He took a chance. And, spending my year at Holmes, especially with, being at that program that's full of tradition, but has been a challenging place to win. We focused on so many things off the field, documentation, paperwork, how to build a culture from the ground up, spending that year with Pete, and James McCall, who's the OC still there this year, that's what we focused on. It's tough. Yeah, we went 0-10 last year, but it was probably one of the best 0-10 seasons I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Because again, the love first approach that we took, and now they're having, some good success this year heading into year 2. It was that year 1 last year that allowed me to see things from a different perspective, not only on the field, but off the field. So I'm definitely grateful for the last 3 years spending in Northside ISD at Taft and at home.
Coach, we started a 4-0 this year with the Lytle Pirates have, and the first game 3-0, second game and third game you keep progressing in the point totals and everything. But I want to talk about your defense. How has your defense progressed week in, week out, only allowing I think you're averaging 15, 20 points a game. Just talk about your defense and how that's progressing throughout the year.
Oh man, it's been unbelievable. I took a chance also on giving the defensive coordinator role to a coach that's been here. He's Lytle. He bleeds black and gold. And I was like, who better to give that position to than someone who's going to devote his heart into these kids? And so I kind of allowed myself to bring my defensive philosophy that I used from Holmes, and I built it here, and we rolled with it here at Lytle. So he definitely jumped on it. He loved it. And so what I was able to help him with and still continue to help him with is just continue to feed and fuel our kids.
Right.
And it's really, it's the attitude of belief, regardless of what scheme we're running, if these kids, can believe in the system that we're building and the foundation, the culture that we lean on every single day, everything else is going to take care of itself,
Right.
So that's the reason why, our defensive approach doesn't change compared to our offensive approach, so, and I give credit to my defensive staff and Coach Freddie Martinez, man, has been unbelievable taking on that role and has really grown, man. He's a lot older than I am. He has a wealth of experience, but we have our one-on-one conversations behind closed doors by telling him, hey, I got your back, man.
Right.
I got your back. Don't ever be afraid to take a chance, to take a shot, give someone an opportunity, just to allow and continue that growth mindset, and he feeds and fuels me too. He's my associate head coach for a reason. Why? Because we do everything together.
Right.
And I couldn't be more blessed to have that man right by my hip pocket, man, every single day.
Coach, when you come from Holmes and you had that 0-10 record, but you learned a lot at that point. You come to a program like Lytle, who's really kind of been hungry as themselves. Have you been feeding into the I got to eat soup with a fork?
What can we scoop, while we're doing that, and whatever hangs on to that, it's kind of where my dig deep philosophy came from. and the dig, all that means is develop, impact, and guide. That's what the DIG stands for. And I was like, okay, this program hasn't had much success, but hey, bring it on. I love it. I love the opposition. I love the adversity. I love the obstacles that are coming along, with this job opportunity. Regardless of the fact, if we were 0-4 at this time, I would still be able to sleep at night. Why? Because we're doing things the right way.
Oh man, I thought you were going to keep talking more, but okay. No, you're good. I got a question from Carrie Hartman on the Facebook. Why did you want to become a head coach?
Good question.
Oh man, it's everybody desires to be in this position. Especially long-time coaches that have been in the profession for 20, 30 years, but also first-year coaches that had just gone into it. Everybody wants to sit, in a position of leadership. And ever since I got into coaching, my first year, I started creating my head coaching blueprint. I started writing things down. I started creating a book. You look in my phone and I go to the notes. I still have things when I started preparing myself back in 2017, and especially built my first year as a head softball coach here in Lytle. I didn't know anything how to lead a program, but I knew where my foundation laid. Why? Because I gave my life to Christ February 26, 2017. That's where it started, and that's where I became a transformational person instead of a transactional person. What can I get for me? What's in it for me? What is this? Does it benefit me? That's how I was before, So when I was able to see things through different lens, through Jesus lens, all right, man, it changed my life. And the transformational approach, and also coaching females. My first 3 years as a head softball coach changed my head coaching approach as far as the love first, relationship driven. So when you're able to communicate and connect with people, that's the number one thing. That's where it starts. And so that was my approach coming into this position. And I always love to see, failures turn into opportunities. Why? Because we're gonna fail. But just like I tell the kids all the time, mistakes are bruises, not tattoos. They're gonna go away. They're not gonna stay. And coming into a head coaching role, I just knew exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. I just like I tell the kids, I don't care what we do, I care how we do it. With energy, with the energy, effort, enthusiasm, the love, lead, and listen. The digging deep. And so I knew exactly what I wanted to do the second I stepped foot on this campus back here in May. And the kids, you got to find a way to allow them to gravitate towards you. So that's why I always tell them, I was like, how many EGBs can we get today? And what does that mean? They're energy giving behaviors.
Yeah.
So that's a hug, a handshake, and a high five. Those are big 3 H's that we try to look for every day. And taking on this role has been unbelievable. Yeah, it's great success, but at the same time, we're serving kids' hearts, not their talent. That's our program philosophy, coaching philosophy. That's non-negotiable. We're going to serve your heart, not your talent. And that's the one thing that we do every day.
So when you were the softball coach for Lytle, and all of a sudden the head coaching job for the football team comes open, did you have to go through the rituals, throwing your application, things like that, or did that come in between? And what was like that phone call like when you got that phone call saying, Mike, we want you?
What's funny, JR, is this was the second time I had applied and interviewed for the job.
Second time. Oh, okay.
It was the second time. Back in 2017 to 2020, I spent my 3 years here. And then I left. That was when COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I, we were pregnant at the time. Well, she was, I wasn't, obviously.
Well, you were too. Trust me. You got to
yeah. And that's when I ended up making the transition to Northside in the year 2020. Mm-hmm. And after that first year at Taft, that job came open in the spring of 2021. And I was like, well, shoot, I had just been there. I know the people, I know the community. Let me throw my name in the hat and let me apply for this thing. Why? Because I felt like I was ready, and so I gave it a shot, and I thought I was going to be, a finalist. And, I think it's the best decision God ever made was for me not to have it, 2 years ago. It allowed me to see things differently, and especially with Northside and a 6A level school, and see the success that we had. And then now 2 years later, the opportunity came up again, and I'm like, you know what? If it's God's timing, this is when it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen, we're good. Let's continue to move on. And just like I tell the kids, the best is still yet to come. And when I threw my name in the hat, I applied for it. I went through the full interview process. I had to apply online. I had to interview. I went through 2 interviews. And the second round of interviews was actually a demonstration, right here behind me in the weight room with a group of kids. And that's kind of my setting, get me with a group of kids and I'm going to lead them and love them, so that was definitely good for me in that point. But, when I definitely got the call from Miss Smith, our superintendent, at 9 p.m. that Monday night, I'll never forget it, after the board meeting. I didn't even know my name was going to the board. I hadn't heard anything. I didn't get any feedback. I didn't know who was potential, candidate for the final position. And when she called me that night, man, I just felt my heart was full. My heart was full because I was ready. I wasn't ready 2 years ago, and I'll be completely honest and open and transparent about that. Could I have figured it out 2 years ago? Probably. But, now 2 years later, man, and I'm still learning to this day, man. There's phone calls that I make every day to learn new things and to understand new things, especially with UIL policies and procedures and all that stuff. But I couldn't be more blessed with here 2 years later, knowing exactly what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, and how to change the community from within.
Yeah, Coach, you talk about yourself, and it's all about the players, right? Like, we want to talk about the players. Just talk about how, you have pretty much a lot of young players. You have some senior leadership. Just talk about how the adaptation has been from your sophomores. You have a freshman, also a couple of sophomores leading a starting lineup as well. Just talk about how they adapted to your new offense and defense and how they adapted to this new system.
I think everybody just wanted something different. They wanted something different that can just ignite a spark. There's sparks flying around all the time. How do we ignite it? By bringing, juice. Everybody says if you're juiceless, you're useless, right? So how can we provide that from a coaching staff to initiate and ignite something that they're going to trust and believe in? So when we're able to teach them, certain concepts, from a whiteboard to film room to out there on the field, they're able to see things clearly and allow them to gain confidence in what we're doing. So really, we're a triple option spread football team offensively. And so what we've done is we've dug deeper to show them Army film, because Army runs the triple option.
Right.
What does it look like, Coach? Well, here you go. We're going to show you exactly how it's supposed to look. So it's allowed them to gravitate towards, trusting us with that process and really understanding the offense. Defensively, same thing. Where did I get my defensive structure and organization from? The Dave Aranda tight front 3-4 defense.
Right.
So that's kind of where I built my defensive system from that. So when we're able to show them concepts and understand, what this means, what this alignment means, what this, blitz means or whatever, they can clearly see it when we can show it, especially on film. And so they've, with such a young group and young roster that we have, we have a strong freshman group. And we've moved up 4 freshmen to our roster.
Right.
We have a strong sophomore and strong junior group. And the seniors that have been here for a long time have been through some huge turnover. So how do you create that trust? By transparency. That's what we do. The vulnerability that we show every day, the transparency that we show every day is going to create that trust. And that's how you can change a program, fast. And that's what I feel that we've done.
Your schedule this year, and you're talking about that trust, and especially for those seniors that's gone through a few coaches here and there, and everything. You play Carrizo Springs, a team that's really had Lytle's number. You'll win by a field goal, man, 3-0. It's awesome. you take on Kennedy, you do your job there, but then you come to the Legacy Bowl. Everybody knows the Legacy Bowl. You come out on top this year against Natalia, 28-14. Now you're 4-0. Those seniors, how are they feeling right now?
That's what I tell them. I was like, you want to be a Lytle legend? I was like, continue writing your story. I was like, continue believing in what we're doing. And that's what we're trying to create. It's an attitude of belief. That's what we want every day. Like heading into this Friday night's game versus Pearsall, one of our toughest opponents yet.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? That's what we want. We want hard things. So we have to choose hard things. And, the seniors, I'm telling you, man, I was like, you hold the pen and are writing it down on paper of what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've been 1-9 and 0-10 the last 2 years. So guess what? You have total control of what you're giving and getting out of every single day.
Right.
And it starts with you. And I was like, the love and leadership approach has been unbelievable, but I believe it starts with our All-American group. So I call our leadership council All-Americans. So there's 10 guys that we've selected in our football program that lead us every day. And I've created that group as an All-American group. And I meet with them every Thursday at 7 a.m. before we get up here as a team. And we do a daily devotional. We talk about the message of the week. We create a theme for Friday night. And we just live and breathe, exactly what we preach in that 30-minute session that we have together. Why? Because I can't carry and branch out everything. They have to do it.
Yeah.
So I believe I have 2 seniors on that group, but the others are 3 sophomores and 3 or 4 juniors. That's what that group consists of. Why? Because I love the diversity of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And it just allows people to feel valued and heard. That's the one thing that we focus on every day. So when they're able to do that, that's what allows the seniors to understand, hey, this is not just my team, it's our team. We everything that we do together, and it's been outstanding.
Coach, I don't know how much you pay attention to Dave Campbell's magazine. I know we look forward to it every year.
Every
year I look for, it's like my Bible. I look forward first week of August. I can't wait for it. But do you use that as motivation? I mean, they picked Lytle 6th in the district, which I totally disagree with, just to let you know. I wasn't part of this. Do you use it as motivation for when district starts, like, hey, they picked a 6, let's use this as motivation, or have you already had something else in place in that?
Every week on the bottom of our itinerary at 7:00 when we kick off, and this past Friday it was 7:30, I put run our race at 7 p.m. Why? Because we're not going to look left. We're not going to look right. We're going to put our head down, eyes forward, and we're going to focus on what's next. The publicity that Lytle's getting right now, it's great. It's unbelievable. I think we're ranked number 7 in the KSAT rankings.
Yeah.
We've moved up from last week. I got blessed with the opportunity to be the inspirational coach of the week, this week for the city of San Antonio. That's all great, Trey and JR. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't really lean on that. What do we lean on, man? Our faith and trust in the good Lord and our faith and trust in each other. That's the reason why the biggest and best illustration that I've given our kids is the Michael Phelps photo when he's winning the gold medal, and the guy beside him is looking left. That's the best illustration that I can give our kids about how we run our race.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're focused on what's next, man. We pride ourselves on having a windshield mentality.
Mm-hmm.
The windshield mentality is our windshield's bigger than our rearview mirror.
Yeah.
And we love moments and memories. We love it, and that's why the rearview mirror is there. But we got to keep our dreams bigger than that. So that's the reason why a windshield mentality is one thing that we pride ourselves on, and we preach every day because we run our race. So regardless of what's in the Dave Campbell's magazine, regardless of what's on KSAT every week, regardless of where we're at, on rankings and standings and leaders and stats, that I love it, and I appreciate everything that Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football does for us. And Matt Stepp and Jay Tepper and you guys here with Hill Country Nation, we love it, man. But again, we focus on each other. We focus on what's right here in this room together, because it's not about them, it's about us. And that's why we run our race every single week.
You're running your race and you're running strong and fast. How important is it for you to have that brotherhood with the coaches that you have? I mean, because when it comes down to it, you can't do it all. You can't call all the plays. You have to rely on all these guys. But also at the same time, things, like outside of football come down to it as well. How important is it for, your coaches and to have that brotherly love?
It's just the transparency, and this is one thing that I started doing last year when I was a defensive coordinator at Holmes, because it was a leadership role. Being a coordinator is a leadership role. Mm-hmm. And I got this idea from our pastor at CBC, which is Community Bible Church off 1604 and 281. Mm-hmm. He calls them open mic moments.
Nice.
So we're sitting here at the round table, and it's like, here, let me hand you the mic. What's on your mind?
Yeah.
What's on your heart? Why? Because I don't want things brushed under the table. I want things laid up on top, and let's talk about it. Let's be transparent about it. Hey, there's something bothering you, or if you want an idea, or if you want something to change, let's fix it and let's confront the issue right here, right now. We can't hide things. Same thing with the kids. If something's bothering them, the one thing I tell them is come knock on the door. Let me know what's bothering you. Yeah. Why? Because we get our best answers from them. That's how we changed our practice approach. That's how we changed our pregame approach, because we listened to our kids and we listened to our coaching staff. And I want everybody to have a voice, man. I want everybody to be heard and valued. And that's the one thing that we really pry on and preach every single day. So that transparency has created such an atmosphere of love, and an atmosphere of love when you walk in through this door here at the field house. That's the one thing that you feel. Why? Because we make everybody feel like a somebody. That's one of our culture commandments. And that's the one thing that we lean on every day.
That's where my motto comes in. Never problems. Trey?
Only solutions.
Only solutions.
There you go.
I like mine better, but whatever. Coach, we talked a little bit about this off the air today, before we came on. We were looking at the schedule, only 3 home games this year, but you like these road warriors. Just talk about how your team has grown through playing a lot of these road games, not only in non-district, but also in district as well.
Dude, the Pirates. Come on, man. Pirates are always on the water.
I know, but
hey, you know what? Best biblical phrase that I could give you right here. You want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat.
Get out of the boat.
So that's the best thing that I can really demonstrate and define right there, man. And it just goes back to what I told y'all before the show started with Jeff Traylor and his motto of the triangle travels, right? The 2-1-0 triangle of toughness. Well, shoot, our community travels. Every away game that we've had, man, our stands are full, and we love it. And we turn around, look over, and I always tell our kids, man, we pride ourselves on this symbol right here, and this is what I love you means.
Right.
Right. So we focus on family. So what is family? Is forget about me, right? I love you. That's what family stands for. So after every single game, we walk around along the railing and we walk showing this to our friends. Why? Right. Because they mean something to us. And regardless of the success we're having, if we were 0-4, we'd still do the same thing.
Right.
Why? Because I want to do things differently. I want to do things like they've never been done before here. And that's what this community needs. It's a love first, relationship driven approach. And that's the one thing that we demonstrate and display every single day.
Speaking of community, that is something that has been the talk of town around Lytle right now, is that now it seems like this year the stands are packed, whether it's home or away, which has mainly been away. They're painting the town, which a lot of towns just need to understand. You got to, put that Lytle, Lytle Pirates, dig deep, hashtag dig deep, pirate pride, all that stuff. The flags are flying. How important is it for you guys, not only as a coaching staff, not only for the teaching as aspect of it as well, but also for those kids that have that community backing?
It's unbelievable, but like I said earlier, it starts from what we've done since the month of May. And I always tell people, man, that presence is powerful. You know, presence is powerful. So when, you know, me and my wife, you know, did this early on, and we still continue to do it to this day, you know, where can we go eat here in town, you know, this week? Why? Because, you know, just going to a mom and pop shop here in Lytle is leaving a footprint, you know, on a city, on a town, on the grove, you know. And, you know, when we're able to walk into convenience stores and the local Subway, you know, and the Railhead Cafe here that's very well known, you know, that's what we love about it, you know. And we don't do it to showboat and show off and stand out. We do it because we love this place, you know, and we love these people, you know, and that's where it all started. You know, me and my wife, you know, have conversations about it every night. Is, man, you know, this is not my program. This is us together, you know, and my wife promotes our program just as much as I do. She's involved just as much as I am, you know, and she loves this place. She loves these people, and everybody knows exactly who she is because she demonstrates, you know, the love and lead approach every day. She demonstrates the energy, effort, enthusiasm every day. And she's the one that has helped me build this thing from the ground up and leave lasting impacts that'll last a lifetime, man. And like I said, they're all moments and memories that we can look back on and say, hey, guess what? We left the place better than we found it, you know, and I hope to be here a long time. But also is we left a footprint, you know, on Lytle as well.
Okay, I got to do it. But then Trey's going to come back with a question. But if I don't do it, I'm not going to get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble because I have to do it. So, hey, First Insurance Agency of the Hill Country saves the Hill Country Nation $325 a month, and that is no joke. I went to Mark Justice over at First Insurance Agency of the Hill Country. I said, Mark, man, dude, I am paying like, you know, just almost $500 when it comes to insurance on all my vehicles plus some. And so he said, let me know, let me do this. Let me just run some numbers. Bam, 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 bam. He found me the best possible, same type of insurance I was paying in the beginning, $325 a month I saved. FirstINSAgency.com. That's FirstINSAgency.com. Hey, you tell them you heard about it right here on tonight's show, and you may or may not get a free pin. I don't know. Maybe Mark Justice might take you out to lunch. Who knows? But you can just tell them, hey, you want to save some money on insurance? Let First Insurance Agency try to do the best they can to save you money. All right, Trey, you up.
All right. I don't want to get Lytle in trouble, down to Lytle, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, here we go.
Me and JR would happen to make a road trip up there. Where is a place that we need to stop and eat at before your game?
1, 2, 3.
Shoot, man, the biggest one is the Railhead Cafe. Railhead Cafe is probably one of the best in town. And then there's also a Mexican restaurant that's actually really good. It's called Topi's Mexican Restaurant. You know, it's another place to stop at. You know, and we've definitely been blessed with the brand new Stripes that has been built right off of I-35 that finally has a Laredo Taco Company.
Yeah.
Shoot, I mean, last Friday, right before we got on the road to Natalia, I was like, man, I want some tacos. So I went to the local Stripes there and got me some 2 chicken fajita tacos from the Laredo Taco Company. Man, they were pretty sharp. But the Railhead Cafe, man, is probably the best and best one here in town. You can get, you know, your liking of steak and seafood and burgers and French fries and, you know, chicken fingers, whatever it is, man. But, you know, definitely you want to feed and fuel yourself, you know, before traveling. That's definitely a place to stop at. But any place here, man, is definitely a blessing to this community and just providing people with opportunities.
You taking notes, JR? You taking notes? You taking notes?
I'm taking note, man. Yeah, I'm taking note. You know it. Because, you know, we have to do that. That's what we do, man. We go there and then we just say, hey, we want the Coach Mike Trevino discount.
Yes.
I don't even think I get that yet.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Yeah. Yep. Coach, it's Friday. You know, it's getting about lunchtime. Your tummy's kind of gurgling a little bit. You know, you got to have some kind of, you know, food before it's game time. Do you have a go-to lunch or a go-to snack or a drink or something like that? I don't mean those kind of drinks, but I mean, you know, like something that you just have to have on Friday before game day, whether it's a sandwich or something else.
You know, I probably do a bad job at this, but it's the energy drinks that I try to stay away from, and but I feel like I always have to have one.
Which one?
I feel like I always have to have one. The new Celsius Tropical Vibe, is the one I love. I used to drink too many Bangs, and I'm a huge health freak too. I understand health and nutrition a lot, and there's too much sucralose, in Bangs, which is the sugar replacement.
Yes.
And even though they say 0 sugar, I'm like, it's still filled with,
yes.
everything else that's still bad for you. And so I've been kind of transitioning off of those. Last Friday against Natalia, I actually forgot to drink one, just because I was so riled up, about what's to come. But the energy drink, I feel like I always have to have on a game day, man. And I feel like game day tacos have done me well the last 4 weeks. Regardless if I get them at the H-E-B convenience store, or like I said, last Friday I stopped at the Laredo Taco Company there at the Stripes, there in Lytle, and it's tacos and an energy drink, man. But also the biggest thing for me too is almost some down and quiet time, and that's kind of what I use. I jump in the shower, on Fridays right before we get on the bus, just to kind of give myself some quiet time and just to kind of rinse off and freshen up a little bit. And it's just a mental approach for me. And I feel like that always has to be a part of my pregame routine.
Well, before I ask you a question, Leanna Mosk says I need to stop at the Bakery Pub. They have Lytle graduates and great supporters of your school.
Oh yeah, the Bakery Pub. That's been booming right now, man. That's the place to be. That's the hangout spot. And she's actually our school board president. So shout out to Leanna Mosk.
Yeah, she's doing a great job over there at Lytle SD with everything, not with only sports, with one act play, academics, stuff like that. Doing a really good job over there at Lytle. Coach, I want to talk about. I know Friday, Saturday. I mean, it's basically a second full-time job being a football coach, head football coach, stuff like that. Just talk about your family and Ashley, your kids, and how they've been supportive of you. Letting you take that time to help these kids grow and being a second job here, being a football coach, head football coach.
The one commitment and the one promise I made to my staff when we first met is I never want you to miss a game. I never want you to miss anything that your kids have, whether it's a recital, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a family meeting at home, or you just want to spend some time at home, or they have a game, in Catula or Crystal City. I told them one thing. I was like, we will move and make arrangements for you. I don't need you here at practice. We could take care of it. I was like, I don't need you to miss your kids' events.
Amen.
I don't want you to miss your family events. So we're a morning practice football team. So we're up here at 5:30 a.m. every day, and we practice from 6:30 to 8:10 every morning. So we're out in the field for no more than an hour and a half, and we get done before first period even starts. And our coaches are going home at 4:15 every day. We don't do anything after school. I know I'm here with you guys, and it's 7:45. And my wife is probably like, "Get home."
Sorry, Ashley. Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll hurry. Now,
go
ahead.
That's a promise I made, and we've had multiple moments like that where a coach will knock on my door and say, "Hey, coach, my daughter's got a game, on Tuesday. My daughter's got a game on Saturday, or my son has this, my son has that." I'm like, "Coach, go, man. I don't need you here." I'm like, "I need you over there." Why? Because it's just going to allow them to come back and put everything they have into this program and these kids. That's the same way that we do things every day. The same way that we take our approach with the kids. I always say fresh is best. So when we keep our coaches fresh and we keep our kids fresh, dude, we get the results that we're getting right now. And it's unbelievable to see. But, in regards to my wife, man, she's not a coach's wife, man. She's my wife.
Yeah.
Right.
She's my wife. And she's just as all in this thing with me ever since we got this position. And she promotes our program. She provides for our program. She protects our program. Why? Because she believes in it just as much as I do. and she's doing a remarkable job with our 3-year-old son, our 3-month-old daughter, and she's there every game night. She'll never miss it for the world. Yeah. And she's always representing Dig Deep. She promotes everything on social media. She's probably watching live right now, which I don't know if she is or not. Babe, I love it. I love you. But man, it's unbelievable. Why? Because I get to go home to her every single night and know that one, she trusts me. 2, she loves me. But also, and I'm just preaching to myself here is I got to go home and walk in the door to something beautiful, and that's the one thing that I look forward to every night. I may not demonstrate it well, because I do have a hard time sometimes, giving her a kiss and giving her a hug. And sometimes my brain is always going and 100 miles an hour thinking about what's next. But man, sometimes I got to find time to slow things down, and she definitely slows things down for me. And it can be anything, man. And there's always a moment in a memory that sparks something just to remind myself of what I have in front of me and what we've built together, and the one message I always tell myself right before I get off my truck, and I feel like I need to put this somewhere to remind me also is don't give your family the rest of you. Give your family the best of you.
Yeah. Nice.
And that's the same thing that we take our approach here with the kids, man. I tell them, I may not feel 100% every day. So they got to feed and fuel us too as a coaching staff. Come fill our buckets, as we fill yours, and that's the reason why, I don't need us to be the best. And we're not going to be the best, but we're going to be our best. And we're going to bring our best every single day, regardless of what that is. It may not be the number 1 team in the state, but we're going to be the number 1 team here, for us. For our kids, for our coaching staff, for our families. And, we have such an open door policy here that, I want everybody here. I want families here. I tell the coaches all the time, bring your kids with you. My wife and our kids have sat in my office, numerous times. Why? Because we just love being around each other.
Yeah.
And that's the vulnerability and that's the transparency that we create, from our family at home, and we just bring it here. Why? Because when the kids can see you as a dad instead of a coach,
Amen.
Wow, what response are you getting right away? You're like, hey, coach is dead on when he tells us some things. Right. Why? Because we believe in it. Yeah. And that's why the love first, relationship driven approach that we take is the same approach that we take everywhere else.
Amen.
And that's the one thing that we can really lean on and put our faith and trust in every day.
Well, just let you know, your wife says you're all right today. She said she'll let it slide this time. So you're good.
She might have one of these here. I understand the watermelon's your favorite, right? Is that your favorite?
That's the Celsius, man. That's what I drink. Now the favorite one is the tropical vibe. It's like a mixture of different things, but that's it right there.
Coach, we got time for just a couple more questions, and I'm going to let Trey ask it. Are you going to ask what I think you're going to ask? Because you've asked every single.
No.
Come on.
No, I'm actually going to switch it up with you.
Oh, then we might have 3 questions, and I can ask 2.
Because Coach Trevino is a man of faith. I'm a man of faith. You're a man of faith, JR. Mm-hmm. My pastor, my dad actually, preached Sunday, who is the biggest influential person that led you to Christ? So I just want to know who is the biggest influential person that led you to help you along the way in your coaching search?
Great question.
Oh, man. Number 1 is my dad. My dad now to what it used to be, it's an unbelievable story of what God has done in his life. Mm-hmm. Because, growing up, it was never fine and dandy with me and my brother. Mm-hmm. Growing up, we had our mountains to climb, right. we had our speed bumps to get over. And sometimes we're like, this is, some things hurt, at times. And some things we took to heart and that were meaningful to us. And it was like, man, I don't want to be that person, right? But it's unbelievable what God has done through him to feed and fuel us now, especially now that we're not under the same roof, right. And I think that's where things started to change. and he's devoted his life. I want to say the last, 12 years, ever since I left, graduated high school in 2010, and I want to say about 2011, 2012, especially when my brother started to get into high school and he graduated in high school in 2015, that's where he became a transformational person. Why? Because we weren't there anymore. And that's where we started to find things out differently as far as, hey, you know what? I want to be just like him growing up. He devotes his time to our family now. And they still live back at home down in Raymondville, Texas, where I was born and raised.
Wow.
And they can't wait to get up here,
Yeah.
And we've been very fortunate enough to have them here the last 4 weeks. They haven't missed a game.
Nice.
Why? Because they love to be a part of it. And, unfortunately, they won't be here this Friday. But guess what? We'll have my other family here. My wife's mom and dad, my mother and father-in-law will be here on Friday night for the Pearsall game. Nice. And it's just having that, the family support system from my wife's mom and dad and from my mom and dad those are influential people right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because of what they've built and what they've grown, and what they've been able to sustain, as far as, from their leadership roles as parents. But the impact that my dad has had, on myself and just the people around us, every single day is something that I love to emulate, on a daily basis now. And, especially the other most influential person that has allowed me to better myself as far as being a connector and a communicator has been our Pastor Ed Newton from CBC.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because he loves to relate a message and create a story and an illustration to attach to a heart, and when you're able to understand, not just hear, but listen, right? That's why here we pry on listening patiently. We don't just hear people, we listen to people, and the using the words of alliteration where there's rhyme and rhythm to things. For example, love, lead, and listen, 3 L's. Energy, effort, enthusiasm, 3 E's. Handshake, hug, high five, 3 H's. Those things stick. So when I was able to understand his messages by attending those Sunday sermons, my wife led me to that church. I would have never known about CBC until my wife led me there.
Yeah.
And we went for an Easter service. Shoot, man, this was back in 2017, right. I believe. It may have been 2017 or 2016, sometime around there, where I was like, man, what an impactful place to be, just to get fed and fueled, weekly, and that's the one thing that we kind of changed our approach on, especially our relationship. Mine and my wife's relationship strengthened because of where we went every Sunday or Saturday, and the messages we were getting. So when we started going to those and we had our son, we're there in worship and he's raising his hand, up in the air, praising the good Lord.
Yeah.
Probably because he sees everybody else do it, but golly, man, what a picture.
Yeah.
What a picture and what a moment to share. Why? Because he knows how important, that is to us. And so when we can lean and lay our foundation on the good Lord and everything that we do, they're going to clearly understand what we're about. Why? Because of what God has allowed us to do every single day, impact the lives here in Lytle, impact the community, bring so much power and presence, to a place that's needed in a long time.
Yeah. Coach, we're going to reduce it to one question. We'll let the pet peeve of a coach kind of go. I know that's one of the things.
Well, the reason I didn't ask that because I don't think that anything gets under his skin.
Maybe it does. He is human, Come on. Let's just real quick. What is one of the pet peeves of being coach when you're coaching a team? And then we'll go to the last one.
The one thing that does kind of get under my skin a little bit is just the organization. Not being organized. Like when something doesn't look a certain way, or things aren't being said a certain way, and we start to go off our rail. Love, lead, and listen, and energy, effort, enthusiasm, and we start to serve talents prior to hearts. That's kind of where it's like, it's screeching to me, and it's a little bit irritating. So that's where we have open mic moments, and I got to have them. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're derailing a little bit, and we got to get back on track.
Yeah.
That's one big thing. And also my wife, she's probably listening right now, but my OCD, man, my OCD is big. So when there's something out of place, I feel like I have to go, reorganize it. I got to straighten it out, or this wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Why is it there now?
Yeah.
I always have to fold my clothes a certain way. Yeah. Yeah, my wife, I love her to death, and she'll fold my shirt a certain way, and shoot, for some reason, I find myself refolding it.
There it is.
But man, it's the organization piece of things. I'm very structured and organized. And do I make mistakes? Heck yeah, I do. But just like I tell the kids all the time, mistakes are bruises, not tattoos. They're gonna go away. So we got to find a way to fix it.
Your wife is cracking me up.
Yeah.
There you go.
I always call bruises, like trophies for champions. That's kind of how it is, because that way you see the bruise, you know what it is, and it hurts, don't it? But it won't hurt if you just keep, as long as you don't do it again. Coach, I know you've already said a lot of things and everything. First of all and foremost, we appreciate you being on our show. I know I told you, 30 to 45 minutes, but man, when we get rolling, man, we can't help it. It's just how it is. But the one thing, I know you said some things, but what makes Coach Mike Trevino, Coach Mike Trevino?
The good Lord, when he affected my life, February 26, 2017. And that's where just like I said earlier, man, that's where I became a transformational coach. That's where I just became a transformational person, just in every aspect of my life, with my wife and our relationship, with my kids and our parenting, and just allowing and understanding where my faith and trust lies in every single day. I got a shelf of books there, and the first one I pull out every morning is my daily devotional. Why? Because I love to look at what day we're on, and when things go wrong, I was like, hey, guess what? It's a part of God's story. It's supposed to be that way, and you guess what? A loss may be coming soon, but that's a part of God's story. But you know what? If it's a part of God's story for us to go 10-0 also, I won't be surprised, because He holds the pen. We don't. We're just riding the wave, to wherever He's leading us. And, just being able to connect and communicate with parents, with players, with administration and staff, with people in the community. I try to focus on that every day. And, like I said, it's understanding where our foundation lies. And, having a wife who's fully supportive of what we're doing here, that she makes me. And she reminds me of a lot of things that I'm doing right. She reminds me of a lot of things I'm doing wrong. But it's the words of affirmation that she gives me daily also. And we can laugh about things, we can joke about things, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, what an unbelievable platform that we have right here, right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And regardless of record, JR and Trey, if we were 0-4, I still know we're doing things the right way. Yes, I still know what we're leaving at this place every single night when we drive away. And I exactly know what we're driving up to every morning when we get here. And that's the approach that we're going to continue to take, whether it's going to be for years to come, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what God has for this place, man. It's not about what I'm doing. It's about what we're doing together. And it's what about the good Lord intended for this place to have. And I can't wait. That's why I always say, man, the best is yet to come, and it's coming. And we're coming here too. And it's unbelievable. I sometimes I'm speechless on, what's happening here, but it's God. Only God can do this. It's not Mike Trevino. It's God.
Yes, sir. Coach, what's missing over here?
What's
missing over here?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what?
And over here, what's missing, Coach?
I'm gonna give you a brand new helmet with our brand new decals so you can, take those uniforms and you can find a platform to put that helmet on.
There you go. We're gonna have a flag, and of course, we wear merch. We wear T-shirts and things like that.
I'm gonna give both of you hats, and
there you go.
I'm gonna send a shovel with it so you can dig deep everywhere you go to.
Oh man, I want one of your shirts that you have on right now. Those are nice.
Those are hot commodities right now, man. Yeah. Everybody's asking. Yeah, that's awesome. Coach, we really appreciate you being on the show, man. We could talk to you for a couple more hours and everything, just because there's so many more questions we got. But it is what it is. You got to get home, man. You got kids and family you got to be too. But we really appreciate. But if you can just hold on for just one more second after we're done, man, it'd be great. And we just kind of go from there. Want to remind everybody also, October the 13th, the Lytle Pirates at the Hondo Owls are going to be our Hill Country Nation game of the week. I know that we have been getting a lot of text messages about Bandera Hondo. That was some questions I wanted to ask Coach, about as well with some scheduling, but that's okay. We'll do it at another time. But October the 13th, mark that calendar, baby, because that is what it is. Coach, we appreciate you being on our show, and God bless you, man, and thank you so much for being part of what we're doing here in the community, because without God, man, we're nothing.
That's it. And I appreciate both of you fellas. God bless and dig deep. Thank you.
All right, man. There you go. All right, Coach. There's Coach Mike Trevino of the Lytle Pirates. And want to remind everybody that, again, this week we will be in Fredericksburg Heritage against the Gloria Deo Lions, being our game of the week this week. Let's bring that down before Trey gets on it. Fredericksburg Heritage Eagles, Gloria Deo Eagles, and then we're going to try to get the Rock Spring and Doors up to the Hammond Cowboys as well on Saturday at 2-1. That's where we're at. The market calendar, October 13th, Lytle at Hondo. Hill Country Nation game of the week for Trey Collins and for Coach Mike Trevino. I'm Jay Alexander saying so long. See you later. Until tomorrow,